Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Leddy. Yo, welcome to So Serious Gaming, and today I'm bringing you another build video, and this is a build I've never ever done in any of the previous patches because, let's face it, NOMAD was pretty useless before, but I don't know, man. I feel like in 1.6 NOMAD is actually pretty fucking top dog. I'm not gonna lie, man, it's pretty fucking top dog. I was running solo with it to test it out for about an hour, I think it was, before my team came on, and dude, it was so fun. I was taking on teams and everything with it, man. It was so fun. I loved it. Like, I think it's underrated. I think it's underrated. Even now, even after I think it was Marco Style said it was a top tier set, it's still underrated. People didn't really pay attention to him saying that it's a top tier set. So yeah, I think people missed a little gem on this one, to be honest. Like, okay, it doesn't have the DPS buffs that other sets have and things like that, but you know, it's still 328k DPS, and you know, that's basically because of all damage and things like that. So yeah, let's get right into it, guys. We'll go through the build. I'll show you the guns and things that I'm using. In fact, I wasn't even using the SASG. I was using my Historian, which is so much fun, by the way. I love the Historian, man. It's so fun. So yeah, the main gun I use, obviously, is my MP5. Now, I've got a new one. Originally, I was using this 21% crit hit chance, 18.8k base damage with Vicious, Responsive, and Brutal. Ideally, I wanted to take Brutal off. I wanted like Deadly or even Unforgiving or something like that. Well, I got this one. It's slightly lower on the base damage, 18.7k, slightly lower on the crit chance at 19%. But it's decent enough. It came with Unforgiving, it's still responsive in the bottom, and I rolled Deadly for the middle. So, you know, I'm happy with that. Unforgiving, you know, if you don't want Unforgiving and you just want to be able to deal as much damage as possible, if you get, say, Deadly and Responsive in the top two, you could have Fierce, I believe it is, which gives you crit chance in the bottom slot, so you don't need electronics for it. Or you could have Vicious as well if you wanted. But I wanted Unforgiving because the simple reason being I like to face tank. I'm a face tanker. So as my health drops, my damage output goes up, which counters. It kind of helps save my life quite a lot of the time, you know. Because as I say, when I'm face tanking, my health is guaranteed to start dropping. So every time it drops a segment, my damage output goes up. So 9 times out of 10, that helps me win the gunfight. And it compensates like the slightly lower crit chance and damage output as well, I suppose. So I wanted to test that out, and it works pretty well, and I'm happy with it, to be honest. And the Historian I have on this build has 163% headshot damage, 44.6k base damage. I believe on my high-end build I can get it to around, I think it's around 60k base damage, unless I put my gloves with marksman rifle damage on, which it goes up to 60 something, I think it is. The talents it's got, it came with Destructive and obviously History Repeats, which History Repeats is awesome. Each bullet embeds itself in the target and detonates 1 second later for 700% of your firearms total. It hurts. Like, if the initial shots maybe don't appear to hit that hard, but when it pops, if you land, say, 3 shots and all 3 bullets pop, it takes off a good chunk of health, and it hurts, and it makes them panic, and I just love it, man. It's awesome. Destructive, ideally you'd want to go with, I don't know, probably something like Deadly, or is it Proficient, where you get extra damage for being beyond 30 meters, I think it is. You know, there's a few different ones you could go for over Destructive. I don't think enemy armor damage is really worth it anymore. Because of how low the armor is, you're kind of only going to get like a 3% damage increase when you have a sort of decent amount of EAD. It's not gonna be too effective, so you may as well go for things that's going to increase your initial damage output instead. So, but the top talent was dead. So I've got Vicious on there at the moment. I may change that for something else, I'm not sure yet, but I just ran out of Phoenix credits when rolling, so I was kind of stuck with Vicious. But either way, man, I love it, it's awesome. Now, the MP5, my mods are mainly rolled into crit damage. Crit damage, crit chance, headshot damage on the muzzle, crit damage, accuracy, reload speed on the grip, magazine size, crit chance, rate of fire on the mag, and crit damage, headshot damage, crit chance on the sight. I'll go to primary. We can have a look at the stats real quick. 22. Wait, it's doing this awkward thing again. That was my secondary. There we go, primary. 39.5% crit chance, 114% crit damage, and 61% headshot damage. Now, I see quite a few people doing. Now, I did it in my first high-end build video because I was stuck with like legacy gear of 1.5 where we had to roll crit chance on everything. So when they added the crit chance thing on it, I was pushing nearly max crit chance. Now, you don't really want to do that. You're kind of wasting yourself. You want to go for around sort of 40%, 45% crit chance, and then spec into crit damage. Reason being, especially if you're in a team, you're always going to have a pulse. And if you go for max crit chance, you're wasting the crit chance on your pulse. So spec into crit damage. The pulse will take you up to max on the crit chance, or at least close, and then you get extra crit damage on top. So let's just say, for example, I'm 39.5% crit chance. I have a teammate with a pulse that does around 20% crit chance, for example. That's going to take me to nearly 50% crit chance, which that's plentiful. It doesn't have to be at 60. And then, his pulse will probably give me an extra 20-25% crit damage, which is obviously going to take me up to about 130 something, 140 or whatever on the crit damage, and it's going to hurt like hell. It's going to hit like a truck. So you want to make sure you spec into crit damage. Obviously, like I say, try and push for around 40%, give or take a little bit for the crit chance, and you should be pretty good. Reload time 2.38 seconds. Ideally, I could get that down. I could roll for on the holster. I could roll reload speed, which I did, but it's got crit chance on there. So I'm just going to leave it as that because the stamina roll was really low, so I rolled that out on the holster. 945 armor on the holster, 1257 firearms, 1264 stamina, 1180 electronics. The electronics rolls relatively low, but I'm not too fussed. I mean, I run specialized. That gives me decent skill power, which makes up for it. So the knee pads have got a decent armor roll. They came with a decent no, it didn't actually. No, it came with a pretty poor stamina roll, but the attribute it came with was, I can't remember what it was actually. It was like damage to elites or some shit. It was one of the useless ones, so I just rolled that out and I went for health on there. This is literally just made of like the first pieces I got. It's just mainly to give you guys a blueprint to work with on it and sort of expand on that. The mask, again, decent stamina roll. You want to be aiming with your not stamina roll, sorry, armor roll. With your armor rolls, you want to be aiming for the high 900s and above. Anything sort of 950, 940 and below is okay-ish. But if you're going down to like the 800s, just get rid of it. It's not worth it. Anything below 900 is definitely not worth it. So mid to high 900s is what you want to be aiming for the armor rolls on anything you use. It came with an electronics roll, so I rolled that out for firearms. It gave me 1,263 firearms. I added a firearms mod on there, 260 firearms with 3,155 health, and again it came with crit chance rolled on the mask. You could go with health on kill, you could go with skill power, things like that, but because there's no damage buffs to this gear set, I wanted to make sure that I can do as much damage as I possibly can with the set, so that's why I've gone with crit chance on there. The vest has got a super nice armor roll, 2,000 armor, enemy armor damage, which is decent. It's going to help me do a little bit more damage, so I left it on there, and I took out the other attribute, which was skill haste, I think it was, and rolled that for health. It came with a pretty poor stamina roll, but it was going to pay me more to have health rather than sort of skill haste or something. And firearms, a decent, you know, 267 firearms, 3,317 health. They're both the same actually. Oh no, they're not. Sorry, 263 firearms, 2,909 health. The specialized backpack I'm running now. Ideally, I would have liked to run this one, but it didn't really fit into how I have the build set up. Because I would have preferred this because of the crit damage. My crit damage would be super high. I may try and mess around if I can get a couple of different pieces of Nomad. I'm going to mess around and try and build it so that I can use this backpack and have the at least close to 7k firearms. If you're wanting to do damage, you want to be pushing 7,000 to 8,000 firearms. A lot of people I see are going for about 7,500. Just with this, how it is at the moment, I couldn't really go anywhere else to get the extra firearms out. So it is what it is. I had to put some stamina mods on to make sure I met the requirements for Vicious. That was the one that was not Vicious. It was Unforgiving on the MP5 and Vicious on the Historian that weren't activating until I put a stamina mod on. So yeah, like I say, this is a build in progress. This is something I'm definitely going to be looking to min-max though, because I absolutely loved using it. It was amazing to use. So yeah, it came with a fairly decent firearms roll. Ideally you want to be pushing sort of 1250, 1260 plus for the top end, but 1230 plus is decent enough anyway. Then I put a 252 firearms mod with 3,140 health on there, and it's got skill power, and I rolled ammo capacity on it because I was using the Barrett's chest piece with this on a previous build, and the Barrett's chest piece hasn't got ammo capacity, so I wanted ammo, so I rolled that on it. That's all it is. Again, this is something I'm looking to replace at some point with better rolls that fit what I want, and a better armor roll, because the armor roll's pretty trashy too. And the gloves are Savage gloves. Again, there's no damage buffs on this, so that extra bit of crit chance out of cover is always going to be helpful. And I rolled SMG damage, crit chance, and crit damage on there. I believe 17% is the max crit damage you can get as well, so I'm pretty happy with that. In fact, I'm really happy with that. And yeah, the mods I'm using, the mods I tend to use, I tend to run two first aid. I've not been using this build after, like, when I was playing with my team last night. Like, I wanted to use this as a solo build, and I wanted to showcase it solo. So when I joined my team, I switched up my build, went to another one, and I took all my mods off. I've just kind of thrown this together. But ideally, what I tend to do with my mods, performance mods, is I'll run two self-heal mods, and then two mods that link to the skill that I'm using. So if it's, say, a turret, I'll roll turret health on there. Seeker Mine damage. Healing Station, I'll use Healing Station range usually, or Healing Station's healing speed. You know, that kind of thing. So two self-heals and then two for my other skill tends to be how I sort of switch it up. So my survivability is 233,190 on the health, and the armor mitigation is 32.38%. So it's decent. It could be higher, but you know, like I say, I'm looking for some better rolls, some better armor rolls, better stat rolls, all that kind of thing. So this is a build in progress. This was, like I say, thrown together with the first pieces I got, but it is super fun, man. I absolutely love it. So on the skills, I always run an overdose because I'm more we have a healer who provides us with a booster shot. I mainly use, because I'm a face tanker, obviously my heal is mostly going to be used for myself. I do try and drop it for teammates where I can or where they need it. But if I'm face tanking, I'm going to low health and I need that quick heal and I haven't got time to call it out for a teammate, I want as much health as possible. So I run overdose for that reason. Obviously, depending on what kind of player you are, you can run defib, you can run booster shot if you've got vigorous. They're all worth using regardless of anything. Now the talents I'm using are triage. Because I'm running solo. Again, these talents were switched up for when I was in a build, in a team. Sorry, when I'm running solo, I want to run critical save always. When you use a med kit, you get a bit of damage resistance. Strike back when you reach low health. Reduce active skill cooldowns by 20%. That's always going to save you when you're solo. I run chain reaction because of grenades. You know, they're just going to deal a bit more damage if they're grouped up, and that's always helpful when you're running solo. And for the fourth talent, there's a number of things you can use. You could use on the move. You can use steady hands if you're using an assault rifle, or, you know, say like the bullfrog that kicks, but you don't want to put instability and take away your damage buff from uncomplicated. So use steady hands, bounce off cover. You've got a 25% reduction in recoil for 10 seconds. Precision, headshot hostile to pulse them for 10 seconds. You've got one is none. If you're using a shock turret, you can use fear tactics. A flame turret, you can use wildfire. You could use tactical advance. If you've got a nimble holster, obviously you're going to be doing cover to cover to get the health. Use tactical advance to combine with it, and you're going to get increase in weapon damage by 2% per meter covered for 5 seconds when you do a cover to cover move. So if you use nimble and tactical advance, you're going to get a health boost. You're going to get a damage boost. You can just use tactical advance on your own. You know, ideally I would say don't go with the nimble holster though. Some people do. Some people like to run, you know, the gloves and then have nimble holster specialized backpack, or, you know, just have the nimble holster and the savage gloves. I will say this though, go with savage gloves. It's going to increase your DPS, maybe not by sheet, but when you have that 7% crit chance to targets out of cover, you're going to notice it, and it's going to help you when they're out of cover. So I would go with that personally. There's so many different things you can go with. Again, you know, shrapnel if you wanted to use shrapnel. You know, if you've got, you know, maybe a sticky bomb, or, you know, your Seeker Mine, when it procs bleed, you can proc bleed on the whole team. There's multiple, so just go with what works best for you, what fits in with your build, what fits in with the skill that you're using, or, you know, whatever. But I would say critical save definitely, strike back definitely, and because you're running solo, you want your grenades to kind of stagger them, maybe split them up, or if they're grouped up, do as much damage as possible to increase your chances of dropping one of them. So run chain reaction, because grenades for a solo player are a lifesaver. Simple as that. And if you're solo, obviously you want to run recovery link. Now, the reason I say you want to run recovery link is when your health hits rock bottom and you're about to go down, Nomad kicks in, it takes you to full health. Then when your health drops down again, your recovery link kicks in. You've died twice, but you're still alive. So they have to technically kill you 3 times for you to die. And every 4 minutes, that's going to be the case, you know, because it doesn't take 4 minutes to get your signature back. And it's 4 minutes for the Nomad to cool down. So every 4 minutes, you have to die 3 times for them to kill you. And obviously, if you can get your ult back quick enough, you know, you could maybe take some of the health rolls off of the mods if you wanted, and go for signature resource gain, and, you know, just target NPCs as much as possible, and they will help bring your ult back for you, and that'll help when your Nomad's on cooldown. You're going to get that back. You can also run the defib as well. If you time your defib right, when you go down, it will revive you. Like, it's kind of like a split second thing. Like, if you press it at the right time and you go down kind of during that delay, provided it goes off before they actually punch you, you'll get revived by it. Like, it's pretty cool. So yeah, I love this set. I really love this set. Like, you will see in the first clip, I'd literally just come online. I hadn't warmed up. I was a little bit lackadaisy. My aim was off, and you'll see, like, I popped my green by mistake too early, forgetting about my Nomad and things like that. So I popped my green, but then my Nomad kicked in after that anyway, and resulted in me winning the fight. There was a clip, actually, I'm not going to put it in the video, but there was a point when I was using this, a team of 4 kept jumping me. They kept, like, chucking grenades at me from behind and then focus firing me. Well, when they came across me and it was face to face, they seemed like they didn't really want to leave me in a position where I could shoot back and move. So they threw a shock grenade instead of a normal grenade. And during this shock, my health went down. Nomad refilled my health. I'm still shocked. My health went down. My recovery link kicked in. I'm still struggling to move from the shock. My health went down. I managed to get a medkit off just before I died and a heal. And by the time I started moving, I died again. I died 3 times in the space of 1 shot grenade. 3 times in 1 shot grenade before this team could kill me. That kind of gives you an idea as to how effective Nomad is into keeping you alive. And due to the lack of armor that we all have these days, it still melts. Provided you do the build right and your accuracy's on point and things like that, you know, you play smart, it melts. And it's so much fun because people think you're about to die, so they run over to hit you, and then they realise you've got a full bar of health, and you see them turn around and scurry around and panic and all this stuff. Man, it's awesome. I love it. I've kind of never been a fan of Nomad until this patch. I just wanted to try it and see if it was, because I knew how much diversity there is in the current patch. I wanted to try it and see just how effective it actually is, and see if it actually is now a viable PvP set. And believe me, it truly is. It truly is. It's amazing. I love it. And I'm really happy that I actually decided to go and try it out. And I'm actually really happy that it's as fun to use as I was hoping it was going to be. So yeah, try it out, guys. Like I say, you don't have to go with these two if you don't want to. You can put a Nomad backpack on there, and you know, maybe you could go with Nomad gloves and put a Barrett's chest piece on if you've got it, or Vigorous or Reckless if you wanted. You could put a backpack on and go with a Nimble holster if you really wanted. But personally, I would go with Specialized because you're going to have better survivability with bigger heals and slightly faster cooldowns, all that kind of stuff. And Savage Gloves is going to maximise your damage output. So yeah, I'm going to wrap it up, guys. I'm kind of waffling on. I love this build. I really want to improve it for you guys so I can give you a much better look at a much more min-maxed build. But yeah, I just love it. I absolutely love it, man. It's amazing. So yeah, try it out, guys. I hope you, if you do try it out, I hope you have as much fun using it as I did, because it was amazing. So yo, I'm going to shut up talking. I'm going to stop with my excited babble about this build, and I'm going to switch it over to some gameplay clips for you, just so you can see what it's like, you know, basically going up against a few different teams and things like that. And yeah, thank you for watching, guys. As always, it really does mean a lot. If you enjoyed the video, if you found it helpful, make sure you hit that thumbs up. It helps me out a lot, and it really, as always, it always does mean a lot to me. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget, smash that subscribe button for more builds and gameplays, and occasionally I give my opinion on things that are happening within the game. I'll be doing a video soon about the Year 2 DLC announcement. I've kind of waited for all the big YouTubers to get their things out of the way, their opinions out of the way, and I can kind of put into it, you know, have a thought process of what the devs have said, what the bigger YouTubers have said, and all that kind of stuff. And then I can sort of come out and give my opinion on what I feel and all that kind of thing. So yeah, and don't forget, guys, drop your comments below. Let me know what you think. And yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you in another video. Peace out.
Disavowed in a vision, and I'm armed at the road. 15 seconds. Rogue agent neutralized. Now leaving the contaminated area. Exiting the contaminated area.
Ah bah c'est celui que j'ai pété.
Ouais. Il veut toujours faire son malin.
Warning. You've disavowed a division and are marked as rogue.
Il était dans celui, je suis sûr.
Ah putain.
Mais c'est pas...